This is the Blind Judge Podcast, and I am the aforementioned blind judge, David Holton, Kentucky's first, only, and now retired blind judge. And while, yes, I'm retired from the bench, I'm very busy practicing law, and you can reach me at davidholtonlaw.com. This podcast is here to, enlighten you, to inform you, to educate you, to entertain you, to maybe perhaps make you smile, and perhaps give you some encouragement to continue on with your day and be better the next day. God knows I need to be better the next day. I need to be better every day. Joined in studio today by my producer and young friend, Cameron Mullins.
Thanks for having me, David.
Cameron
How's
Mullins. And Cameron is here to give me a hard way to go, okay? And to try to straighten me out, something that so far in my 63 years on this planet, no one's been quite able to accomplish.
No, I'm going to try my best. I'll try my best.
Okay, come on, Cameron. You got the cameras rolling. I got the dog over here.
Coach.
You got Coach, my guide dog. He's over here in the floor.
Okay, so obviously this is the Blind Judge Podcast.
Yeah,
so
that's what it is.
your vision is impaired. Correct me if I'm wrong.
My vision's very impaired, man.
Okay.
I mean, I can't see your face. I can't count fingers. I can't see my hands, okay?
Okay. And so how did that come about?
How did that happen? When I was 10 years old, the doctors discovered that I had a brain tumor in the back of my head, okay, on my brain.
Wow.
My parents had been taking me to the doctor for many months with severe headaches.
Yeah.
And the doctors didn't know what it was. Wow. They gave me some medicine and they referred me to an allergist. Maybe it's allergies. It wasn't any allergies. It was a brain tumor in my head. I got a scar in the back of my head that long, Cameron, where they cut my head open, took out the back of my skull, removed the tumor. But thankfully, the only thing that was impaired by that was my vision, my eyesight. I talked to a doctor at the University of Kentucky 3 years ago, ophthalmologist over there, the leading ophthalmologist, and he told me, he said, you're really lucky that you don't have other issues besides just your vision, your sight, because he said 50 years ago in 1972, this was very tenuous surgery. It still is, but back then you could have wound up paralyzed, intellectually damaged, brain damage, could have been dexterally challenged.
Yeah.
But fortunately, the only thing that it has affected is my sight. So I feel very fortunate to be here today doing what I'm doing.
That's good. There's a saying that I like to say a lot, and it's like whenever you're grateful for what you do have, it's really hard to be anxious and depressed and like long for what you don't have.
I don't long for my sight. I really don't.
Yeah.
Now, have I looked into the possibility of recent medical advancements? Yeah, I've looked into it, but it's not because I'm pining for that. I don't say I'm worrying about it. If it happens, that'd be great. If it doesn't, I've had a great life, and I still have a great life.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't know that story. That's actually crazy. You still have a great head of hair despite that scar.
Well, it's even the back of my head. I mean, see, I got a lot of hair back here too.
Yeah. So
now under here, there's a tumor. There's a scar that goes
tumor
from there to there.
Wow.
There's a scar that goes from there to there.
It's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's wild. So like, being blind.
That's me.
being blind.
I'm not just blind. I'm the blind judge, man.
Yeah. The blind judge with the capital
That's right.
THE.
The only one in Kentucky. Cameron, I started when I was a judge. I started to form the Kentucky Blind Judge Association, okay?
Really?
But I thought, man, that would be one lonely conference to attend, just me, right? And, the happy hour at the conference, that wouldn't be any fun, would it?
Yeah. So what are some you're funny. What are some setbacks or
I
things
thought about
that you've
I
had
thought
to
about having some
overcome?
T-shirts printed, but hell, I only need one, right?
Yeah.
For the Kentucky Blind Judge Association.
Yeah. So, what are some setbacks that you've had to overcome? Like, what are some setbacks that, like, what stands out to you the most? Like a time in school, a time in like.
Well, I'll
What
tell
were,
you what. The first thing was trying to feel comfortable around other people who I didn't know who could
Yeah.
see. Okay.
So was that very early
Oh
on?
yeah, early. You know, you really didn't want to be noticed that you were blind. Okay.
Yeah.
You really hoped that when you went somewhere, people wouldn't realize that that young man over there is blind. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember going, and that's why I stayed at the Kentucky School for the Blind longer than I did. I mean that's why I didn't. That's why I stayed there longer than I would have otherwise. I lost my sight when I was 10. It was at the very end of the 4th grade year. Then in the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, I went to the School for the Blind on Frankfort Avenue here in Louisville. But I left the School for the Blind and went to the 9th grade at public high school, Jesse Stewart High School in Valley Station, where I grew up.
Yeah.
But I stayed there because I was comfortable with everybody there. All the students had visual impairments, and it wasn't an educational thing. I mean, I was doing fine in school, both before and after I lost my sight. But it was a thing of just being like I wanted to fit in, and I didn't want to stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
In a school full of sighted kids.
Yeah.
But my parents encouraged me to get back to public school, and that's the thing about my parents, man. God, thank God for my mom and dad. They never expected less of me without my sight
Yeah.
than they expected of me with my sight.
Yeah.
And that was the key to my life, that mom and dad never let me sit on the sidelines and say, it's okay, you don't have to do this.
Yeah.
You know, they were like, go, get up, go. They didn't let me sit around and feel sorry for myself.
Yeah.
You know, I got a 2-seater bicycle, by God, okay? I couldn't ride the bike, so they got me a 2-seater bicycle. One day I remember my grandfather and my uncle Jack, showed up at my house one day with a 2-seater bicycle. I guess they had bought it because, you know, mom and dad were school teachers with kids and, you know, not a whole lot of extra money. One day they showed up with a 2-seater bicycle, my grandfather and my Uncle Jack. And so I started riding the bike on the back, of course, not the front seat, but the back.
Yeah.
But, and when it came time to go to college, they didn't say, you can live at home and go to U of L. Or JCC Southwest was just 2 miles from my home in Valley Station, you know, stay here and go to JCC. No, that wasn't going to happen, Cameron.
Yeah.
It was going to be, you're going to college, and you're going to go away to college, and you're going to get your guide dog to go away to college with you.
Yeah. Wow.
And that was very wise of them to, they said, would you rather have a guide dog or a cane to get around? And I said, oh, cane is very impersonal, you know. People don't want to pet a cane, right? But people do want to pet a dog.
Yeah, it gets a lot less ladies, a cane.
Oh, man, when I got to college at Morehead State, I didn't know one person up there. Go Eagles. I didn't know one person on campus, but between my dog and my guitar that I play, it was easy to meet people, especially girls, okay? And Coach, I mean, the first dog's name was Simon, and Simon and I met a lot of friends in a hurry up there.
Yeah.
At Morehead State.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So, but again, the whole thing, some of the things I overcome, the whole idea of trying to fit in and feeling uncomfortable, really. I mean, hell, people don't want to walk around holding on to their guy friends.
Yeah.
But you know, if you see me sometimes without my dog, I hold on to your left shoulder to get around, and that was just what happened. Mm-hmm. I remember one day we were, my couple of buddies and I, we were at the White Castle on Dixie Highway one evening, and I don't know if we'd had any beverages or not. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But we were coming out, and we had I had my buddy's shoulder, and apparently I bumped into a dude on the sidewalk there.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Hey man, what are you doing? You know, you knocked my food out of my hand." I said, "Man, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I'm really sorry, and you know, here's $5 for your food." And they started wanting to fight. Well, a couple of my Stewart High School football player buddies saw it, and they came over and said, "Man, what are you doing to our buddy here? You know,
Yeah,
leave him
what
alone."
are you doing?
Yeah, you know. Well, I'm blind, and you knocked him. So it was one of those things. I mean, that's my story about holding on to somebody's shoulder. And,
Yeah.
But the older I get, the more comfortable I am in my. I don't
Your
worry about
skin.
that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
But that was something that was very uncomfortable as a young kid.
Yeah.
I became more comfortable myself in college and law school and stuff, but it's certainly something that I was affected by when I was young.
Yeah. What did that? So, a lot of people's sense of identity almost is like in how well they play sports and how good looking they are and their fashion sense and so on and so forth. What's something that you may have latched onto that like helped define you? That like helped you realize I'm not just someone that's blind. I'm something more than that. What's something that you went to? Was it like the books? Was it scholastics? Was it you're funny or so on and so forth?
I think it was really a drive from within myself
Yeah.
that knew I wanted to accomplish
Yeah.
something. I look back now, Cameron, and I think, there were three things that I wanted when I lost my sight and I started to develop a personality or a brain or a mind or a mindset or whatever.
Yeah.
And it occurs to me now there were three things I knew I wanted. I knew that I wanted a family
Mm-hmm.
of my own,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew I wanted a successful career,
Yeah.
and I knew I wanted to give back to my community.
Yeah.
So those are kind of the things that came from within my heart, and I have a beautiful wife and kids. I have a granddaughter, but otherwise we're hoping for more
Yeah.
down the
Yeah.
road. Number two, a successful career, and man, I've been in the law 37 years.
Wow.
In the law, and it wasn't always easy, and it wasn't always real profitable.
Yeah.
But starting off 19 years as a private practice and also simultaneously serving as a prosecutor, and then 10 years on the bench, and now retired from the bench 8 years and practicing law. So that's been, that has been a success. And then number three, giving back to my community. And yeah, I've served 10 years on the bench, elected twice by people of Jefferson County, appointed by governor to the bench,
Mm-hmm.
and then elected twice. And I ran for the legislature twice. I didn't win either race, but I ran twice and learned things and developed things during those races that have helped me in my career, both private practice and helped me get to the bench. So those three things: a family, a successful career, and a chance to give back to my community. Those are the three things I wanted, and that's, I think, what drove me from the beginning.
Yeah. How long did it, for someone that's not blind, how long did it take to relearn how to like read Braille, or not relearn, but like to learn how to read Braille and so on and so forth?
Well, as I told you, I started the 5th grade in the School for the Blind and was there 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. They started, the teachers there started to work with me on learning how to read and write Braille early on. But I resisted it because I didn't want to admit that I was not going to be able to see again and be able and need to read Braille.
Yeah.
I remember my mom and dad.
You're in denial in a sense.
I was. At first, the doctors gave me some hope when I was 10 years old that my optic nerve would heal and that it would come back and my sight would improve. I remember praying every night, Cameron.
Wow.
Praying every night that my sight would improve. I'd also pray every night for my grandmother who had had a stroke to improve. Those are the things I remember as a 10 or 11-year-old, 12-year-old kid praying about. But back to the to the Braille. I remember my mom and dad, they'd send me home with books and want me to practice my Braille, and I didn't. I resisted it. But within a couple of years, they did. Probably a year or two, I was pretty proficient at it, and I still use Braille every day in my life, in my law practice especially.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got in the room next door. We're here in the studio, but in the room next door, I've got hundreds of pages of Braille that I have created myself with case information on it.
So whenever you were resisting, in a sense, from accepting a disability that was thrown to you from left field, what was your mindset like in adapting? Like, were you experiencing like some psychological, like, I don't want to say deprivation is probably the wrong word, but some psychological strongholds in a sense? Like, what were some things that you're experiencing?
I'm sure I was depressed somewhat.
Yeah.
But I've always been an optimist.
Yeah.
I've always been an optimist, and always try to see the bright side of things and see the glass is half full and not half empty kind of guy, and I'm still that way.
Yeah.
You know Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, right? The little
Yeah.
donkey who like, oh my, just another bad day.
Yeah.
But that's never been me.
Yeah.
It's never been me. But yeah, I'm sure that I had some depression. I was depressed, but same time, I was 10 years old and I had a whole life in front of me, and I told you I had my things that I realized early in life. I don't know how old I was when I came across those ideas, that those 3 things I wanted. To have a family and to have a successful career and to give back to my community. But I don't remember Mom and Dad ever taking me to see a counselor, to work through it. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
We went to church, and we, the Methodist church, and we prayed in that and stuff. And always surrounded by family and friends who loved me and made sure that I had opportunities. And education's always been very important in my family.
Yeah.
I come from a family of we have a lot of lawyers and doctors in the family now, but we had a bunch of school teachers back in the day, and guidance counselors and principals and stuff like that. But education was always very important. It was emphasized that you're going to go to school and you're going to achieve, and we never expected anything except somebody to go to college in my family.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that answered your question about the psychological state of things. I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. I was, I resented it.
Yeah.
I was angry.
Yeah.
I was very angry.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? You're either going to get over it or you're going to die angry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And be angry. And I wasn't that person. God's been good to me. God's been good to me.
A lot of times we get out of life what we want and like what we put into it. And even kind of along the lines of what you're saying, there's a proverb that it's like there's life and death by the power of the tongue. And so it seems like after you came to terms with, okay, like I have this now and I need to move forward with my life. I can't sit here and dwell. It seemed like you were speaking life over yourself in a sense. And it seemed like there's like studies that have been done that if you speak to plants positively, they'll flourish. And if you speak to plants negatively, they will do bad. Now, seriously.
Really?
It sounds crazy, but I'm being so serious. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I had a really crappy tomato crop this year, okay? And I guess next year I need to go out and talk to my tomatoes better.
Hey, you can do
summer.
it. You can do it. I'm being serious.
Come on, little tomato, grow, baby, grow.
And so if you speak to yourself positively and you have a positive mindset about things, it seems like you can go and accomplish more. Do you think that you saw that with real life evidence in your own life?
Yeah, I do. I think that my parents instilled in me that you're going to accomplish, and we're not going to expect less of you just because you can't see. And I think that it started paying off. My parents started giving me guitar lessons.
Yeah.
When I was 11 years old, just a year after I lost my, and man, that's been a great benefit in my life to have a guitar. I'm no rock star, but I can play the guitar pretty well.
Yeah. And so, sorry.
Another thing, back to the optimist side of things. I love Abraham Lincoln, and I'm kind of a student of his
teaching and philosophy.
A student of his history and his accomplishments. But one of his favorite quotes he said, "I'm an optimist because I don't know any other way." And I kind of like that motto
Yeah.
and that creed. I'm an optimist because I don't know any other way. It's just who I am.
Yeah. That's good. Do you think being blind has made you a better judge over time? Because you can't judge a book by its cover. You can't see what's on the outside. You can't see what someone's wearing and how they're dressed and their skin color and if they have tattoos and if they have piercings and so on and so forth. Do you think that's made you a better judge over time?
I've been asked that a lot of times. I've been asked, do you think it's a disadvantage because you couldn't see when you were a judge? Hell, I think it's an advantage.
Yeah.
Because you base your decisions on
logic.
On the facts.
Yeah. Logic.
Not on
facts.
You're not prejudiced by the way somebody looks.
Not feelings, not emotions, and not
black, not white,
yeah,
not
there's no preconceived notions
Hispanic
about
or Oriental.
Yeah.
Not how you're dressed. Not if you've got a T-shirt on that says, screw the world. Not if you got tattoos or piercings. Your hair, what color it is, how many colors it is. I will tell you this, Cameron, that a few weeks after when I first became a judge, I was stopped by an African-American attorney downtown one day, and he said, "Judge, I just want to tell you, before I walked in the courtroom today to bring my client in about his case, and we were in front of you a little while ago." I said, "Yeah, I remember that, Mr. Waddell." He said, "I told my client, now, when we go in here, you should know that this judge is blind." And he said his young man, black client said, "The judge is blind?" Mr. Waddell said, "Yeah, he's blind." He said, "Well, that's a good thing, isn't it?" And I think it's, justice is supposed to be blind, right? Justice is supposed to be blind. And in my courtroom, it really was, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, you took that in a literal sense, didn't you, Mr. Holton?
Yeah. Justice is blind, and so am I.
Yeah.
And life's a bitch, and so are you, okay? I wrote a song one time. It said, "Love is blind, and so am I, and life's a bitch, and so are you." But anyway, yeah, that's justice funny. Is blind. So I personally, I'm sure there were some things that if I'd have seen, I might have reacted differently just because, the short circuit would have been swished or something. I know one time somebody said in court, I made a ruling and the woman didn't like it, and somebody said as she was leaving the door, she turned around and flipped me off, okay?
Yeah.
And my sheriff said, "Judge, she just flipped you off." And I said, "Well, it's a good thing I didn't see her, isn't it?" So let her go.
Let her go. Be free. That's funny.
Now, I've had people before one guy refused to let me be his judge. I was in arraignment court one morning, which is where the people in custody come in front of the bench, and you decide whether they get to go home or whether they get a bond set on them.
Yeah.
Well, this guy came in front of the bench one day and said, "You're the blind judge, aren't you?" I said, "Yes, sir. Judge Holton, I'm the blind judge." He said, "Well, you're not qualified to be a judge. I don't want you to be my judge."
That's odd.
And I thought, well, man, if you let me be your judge, I was going to let you out of jail today because these charges are really not bad at all, okay? But you've been arrested, you have a history and all that stuff. But if you don't want me, I said, "You really don't want me to be your judge?" "Nope, you're not qualified. You can't see, so you shouldn't be a judge." I said, "Okay. Well, tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock there'll be another judge here. So we'll see you back tomorrow at 9 o'clock. He basically asked me to recuse myself, and I wasn't going to refuse to recuse. If he don't want to be his judge, then if he thinks I wasn't qualified, then it's his right. So the next day, guess who was back in that arraignment court the next morning again?
You?
The blind judge was back again. He said, "You still blind?" I said, "Yep, still blind." He said, "You're still not qualified." I said, I thought, I was going to let him out of jail today too, but he still. So I said, "I tell you what I'm going to do, man." I said, "The chances are I'll be here again tomorrow. I'm going to transfer your case over to another courtroom tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock so you can find a qualified judge, okay? See you later." Click. Dang. He'd have been out of jail 3 days earlier if he'd have just let me be his judge the first time. But, you can't be offended. Everybody has their issues, and So I wasn't offended, and gotta have thick skin, man. To be a judge, you gotta have thick skin.
I feel like you have to have thick skin to have a disability as well.
I think you probably do, yeah. You know,
And-
people have asked me before. You ever been fired because you're blind from being a judge? You ever let a client fire you because you're blind? I said, I don't know. I'm sure I have, but I tell you what, I've fired more clients than have fired me. Okay. I mean, I've had clients that I say, look, this isn't working. You are obviously not going to listen to me. One client told me one time, he said, I want you to go in there tomorrow and tell the judge 1, 2, 3. I said, I tell you what, if you want a lawyer to tell the judge that, you go find you another lawyer, because this will be the only time you're going to be there. And if I tell the judge that, then the judge is going to know that is going to think, well, you're an idiot, and I'll never listen to you today or any day in the future. So if you really want a lawyer to tell the judge that, then you'll find you another one, because I'm not going to lose my credibility with this judge for telling the judge of something that dumb.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it's like he or she didn't want you to do your job.
Well, he wanted me to tell him what he wanted me to tell him, but I knew that wasn't going to do any good if it's a harder case.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. Back to what I was saying, though, it does sound like over time, it's like your accountability increased so much because you realize that you are accountable like for your actions and the outcome of your life, no matter if you have a setback or not. Right? And so that's almost like encouraging to me, because if there's a setback, if David can overcome so much controversy and turmoil in your own life, then why can't I? You know what I mean? I hope that's encouraging.
I mean,
to other people.
I think I appreciate you saying that. That's very nice of you, very kind, very generous of you. I would say that it's the whole idea of accountability. Yeah, you're accountable to yourself and you're accountable to God. Okay, that's who you're accountable to.
Yeah.
You're accountable to your family, but first person you're accountable to is yourself.
Yeah.
And if you can't have enough self-respect and enough mojo and enough get up and go about yourself to make the best of your situation, then the only person you really let down is yourself and God, because God doesn't want you to be miserable and to suffer in your own shell.
Yeah. I mean, Jeremiah 29:11, it's like, I know the plans that I have for you, to prosper and not to live in anguish.
Exactly right. God doesn't want to see you. God doesn't want to see you drown in your own misery, right?
Yeah. And so if your creator, someone that created you, because we are all creation, doesn't want to see you in turmoil and suffering, like, why would you want yourself to be like that? And that even goes back to what we were talking about earlier with speaking life over yourself. Why would you speak negatively over yourself if it does nothing but drag you down? And it sounds like, in a sense, you had skin so thick that you wouldn't allow you wouldn't allow yourself to do that, and you also wouldn't allow any others to do that over you either.
Right.
Which is good.
God doesn't want the caterpillar, God doesn't want the caterpillar to be a caterpillar forever, right?
Yeah.
God wants that caterpillar to turn to a beautiful butterfly.
Yeah.
Or would you rather be a butterfly or a caterpillar?
Butterfly.
That's right.
I mean, I want to fly. I said this for the longest time. If I could do anything, I'd like to fly.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
Give me some wings.
Do you ever dream you can fly?
Yes, all the time.
Yeah, I've dreamed before. I'm just flying around.
Yeah, I know that. I know humans don't turn into angels when you go to heaven, but if I had one thing that I wish I could do is to fly. I would really love to fly.
Yeah, I'm with you. I have dreamed before that I could fly.
Really? I've never had a dream I could fly. I had a dream I was having to save people from drowning one time. So I guess it's kind of opposite, but
yeah. I've dreamed I can fly. I can just walk around in the air.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
So which is helpful, because if a blind guy could fly, he would never trip over anything,
he's
right?
not gonna run into much stuff. Speaking of,
I would never have had all these damn scars on my shins from breaking, running into stuff.
Have you ever broken your leg?
No.
No, and so that being said,
I broke a finger one time.
Really?
Because I couldn't see.
Yeah.
I was walking through this was when I was a little kid, but I jammed it between a pole and a grocery cart in a grocery store. Boom! I broke my finger.
Dang.
But I've been, knock on wood, God's been good to me. He's kept his hand around me and never had a serious injury.
How long did it take for you to relearn how to navigate space?
Well, that's one thing that,
did your hearing get better? Did your smelling get better?
let's take one. Which question you want first, Mr. Mullins?
Whichever one you want to start with.
Okay, well, let's talk about the orientation. The orientation thing, God blessed me with good orientation, okay?
Okay.
God blessed me with that. Now, to this day, I can maneuver around pretty well.
Yeah.
I can walk from here to this, in the back of this office building,
to
the front door without running into anything.
Wow, yeah.
Of course, I've been doing it for 8 years, but even I do catch on pretty quickly. I can walk through my house without running into stuff. Although my wife leaves a vacuum cleaner in the middle of the hallway a lot.
Oh, have you stubbed your toe a lot?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, man.
That hurts. I think the shin's the worst, though.
Yeah.
But in terms of sight, in terms of smell and hearing, I don't think my hearing's any better. I think I'm just more aware.
Yeah.
And more cognizant of sounds.
Yeah.
Because I'm not focused on how good looking you are, okay?
Yeah.
I'm focused on what I hear outside the window behind me here, going up and down Bardstown Road.
Yeah. So do you look into people's voices? Not look into, obviously, do you, the way you process them? Because you're not reading body language, you're not reading eye contact and so on and so forth. So what are some keys in someone's tone and dialect, in a sense, that you take note of?
Well, number one, you can hear someone smile, okay?
Yeah.
You can hear someone smile. I have this client. She calls me from prison, okay?
Yeah.
And I push the button to accept her call, and I say, hello. She says, well, hello, Judge. And I can just hear her smiling,
Yeah.
I said, you're smiling, aren't you? She said, yeah, how did you know? I said, I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah.
You can hear when someone's frowning.
Yeah.
I know, Judge. But you can perceive, I don't know so much the voice, but the intonation, okay?
Yeah.
It's the intonation of the speech rather than the voice itself.
Yeah. It's interesting. And speaking of, going back to when you were talking about college and so on and so forth, how old were you whenever you got your first seeing eye dog?
18.
And how many have you had?
During my senior year in high school, at Jesse Stewart High School in Valley Station, my parents were like, okay, you're going away to college next fall. You're going to be in college campus. Do you want a cane or do you think you should have a dog? I'm like,
did you not have a cane beforehand?
No, I didn't have anything. I had my buddy's shoulder in the hallway, or my friend's shoulder in the hallway in school.
Okay.
And another thing, my sight has decreased since then. So I could see better in 1980 when I graduated high school than I can see now. I mean, my sight
What do you mean by that?
My sight has declined, okay?
Like seeing light and so on and so forth?
Yeah, I was seeing light or, counting fingers or...
So you could see your fingers?
Well, I mean, I could count a finger, okay? I could count fingers. Now, I couldn't see your face over there. Yeah. I've never been able to see a TV screen. Mm-hmm. But there was a time when my sight was actually better. Like I could walk down when I first started practicing law, I could walk downtown by the Hall of Justice, and there's a big 40-story tall building across the street, and I could see the blackness of that building, the shadow against the sky. I can't see that anymore.
So you can't depict shadow versus light.
No, not well. I mean, I'm not in total darkness, but I mean, I'm not gonna be driving home tonight or anything. But I'm not in total darkness, but it's really not functional, and my sight really has decreased in the last 53 years. But
that's interesting.
But back to the college thing. So we're gonna need a dog. So I got my first dog. His name was Simon. He was a black lab. He was 14 months old when I got him. He was born April 2nd, 1979. And I got him. I met him in late May of 1979. I'm sorry. I met him in late May of 1980. So he was born April 2 of 1979. A year and 2 months later, I met him. And he and I started. he had already been trained. He had been trained for over 6 months at the pilot dog school in Columbus.
Yeah. What was his name again?
Simon.
Okay.
My fraternity brothers eventually named him Simon the Wonder Dog because of how much beer he could drink at the frat house, okay?
Oh my God.
It's a wonder this dog can drink more beer than anybody we've ever met.
Oh my God.
So then...
I can't tell if you're being serious or not.
well, that'll be between Simon and me, okay?
Okay.
Well, Simon would drink some beer, okay?
Okay.
My frat brothers were painting blue
Y'all
and
are
gold.
both just stumbling around trying to go get some food.
So Simon was the first one, and he worked with me through college and law school. When we got to campus at Moorhead, didn't know a person on campus. The dog knew how to get to the cafeteria,
Yeah.
and I knew how to get to the classroom buildings. And but before we left there, I got active in student government. And before we left college at Moorhead, I was president of the student body, okay, with 78% of the votes.
Yeah, wow.
And my dog had been voted big man on campus by the sororities.
Wow.
So Simon and I, man, we talking about went from the little fish in the big pond to the big fish in the little pond, okay? That's really what it turned into being, and had a great experience at Moorhead State University.
Yeah.
My father had graduated from there before me, and then my sister and brother both followed me there, and then my niece and nephew both have graduated from there. So we have a lot of Eagles in the family.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us.
Yeah.
But so that's what happened with Simon. There's a lot of stories about Simon. He flew in a lot of airplanes, okay?
Yeah.
He was in a couple of governor's offices. When I was young, they used to, like, a lot of places would try to kick me out with my dog, okay?
Yeah.
Remember, this is 1980, and I'm 18 years old. I'm a
Yep.
thin guy with, kind of wild hair probably, and
Was it always curly?
yeah. But the thing is about this, this was back in 1980, remember? Before there was the Americans with Disabilities Act, okay?
Yeah.
Before there was really any kind of accommodation laws about guide dogs.
Yeah.
And no, look, plenty of places try to kick my dog and me out, okay?
Yeah.
I would never leave.
Yeah.
I would never leave. I remember one time we were in a Kentucky Fried Chicken, and it was a cold day up in Moorhead, and this manager walked over and said, can we tie your dog up outside while you're here? I said, the only way my dog was going to be outside is if you're out there holding the leash, with him. But no, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And I've had, people try to kick me out of grocery stores and
That's crazy.
out of restaurants, and yep. Thank God the society has evolved now to where there's a lot more awareness of service animals. Now, some people kind of take their service animals overboard, okay? I don't know who needs a service animal squirrel or something, okay?
Alligator snake.
And you've heard stories like that before, right?
Oh yeah.
But my dogs have been great. And then after college, Moorhead, Simon went to University of Kentucky with me for law school.
Yeah.
And man, what a great dog. He was a big old black lab.
Yeah.
That dog could swim, man.
Yeah. I remember Buddy could swim.
Yeah.
A CNI dog that I knew.
I used to water ski, and when I would take off on the water skis down at Nolan Lake, we'd be right there by the boat dock, and they'd pull me out of the water, and Simon would jump in, splash, and try to swim after me.
Yeah. That's cute. So there's like nothing that you couldn't that you've set your mind to that you haven't overcome or tried, like water skiing crazy, and it seems like you're experiencing internal things that you're having to overcome with not wanting to accept it and so on and so forth, and even external of people trying to kick you out and so on and so forth.
Yeah. I mean, and there's one thing I'd like to do that I've not done is snow ski.
Really?
Yeah.
You better get on that.
Well,
it's gonna be a rough winter this winter.
I don't know, man. I think it really is too. I think it's gonna be a cold winter, but I don't know, man. Water skiing, at least you got a boat pulling you around. If you're on a snow ski, I mean, who said that tree ain't gonna jump out there in front of you, right?
Yeah, they've been known to do that.
I mean, it's like I told both of my sons, ski and snowboard, and I said the one place I'm not gone with my kids is up the mountain on the lift to go down on the skis or a snowboard. But maybe someday I'll do some. I've had friends offer before to teach me and take me, but I just haven't done it. Plus, I don't like cold weather that much. I like the sun.
Yeah.
And the
you going surfing?
No, I'm not done surfing, but I love the ocean. I love the ocean. That's one thing about being blind, man. The ocean is the perfect place to encompass all your senses, okay?
Really?
I mean, you know the sound of the ocean, right?
Yep.
And then there's the feel of the water and the sand under your feet and the smell of the ocean.
Yeah.
So that's the one place where I feel like my senses are most
heightened.
Most
in tune, activated.
Yeah, activated. The most embraced is a good word. My senses are really embraced at the ocean.
Really?
The one thing I can't do is see, and then you also have your skin with the sun on it and the cold water and the sand under your feet.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, the ocean is like my favorite place.
Wow. It sounds like you should move there.
Well, unfortunately, there's not an ocean in Kentucky, and I have a lot of clients here.
Yeah.
If I move to the ocean, we'll have to live on the beach, okay?
Yeah. To finish up, though, what is one piece of advice for people that have experienced setbacks, whether that's financial, whether that's physical, emotional, or so on and so forth? What is like one piece of advice that you feel like could fit universally to all of them that you would like to leave people with?
Never give up. Never give up. There's a passage in the book, The Alchemist.
Yeah.
The Alchemist that says the best thing about life is the possibility of a dream coming true.
Yeah.
And that is a very powerful thing to me. The best thing in life is the possibility of dreams coming true. I mean, if we didn't have a hope for tomorrow and hope for things improving, what would be the purpose of being here?
Yeah.
Right? And not everybody is going to be a millionaire. Not everybody is going to be a NFL football player. Not everybody is going to be a governor or a judge.
Yeah.
But your dreams will be a lot. Don't have to be that grand. But some people just have a dream of owning their own home.
Yeah.
The possibility of dreams coming true.
Yeah.
The possibility of not being hungry.
Yeah.
The world's a tough place these days. It's, people say, do you think that society's worse off now than ever? I said, no, I don't think so, because I think this is the best time. We're living in the best times there ever has been on this earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's things we don't like, but there's always been imperfections. There's always been drawbacks. There's always been cheaters and liars and thieves.
Mm-hmm.
We may just have more of them now than ever because there's more people than there ever were.
Yeah.
People say, do you believe the way the world is these days? Yeah, we got electricity and we got sanitation, okay? That's how the world is. There's always been thieves and liars and crooks.
Yeah.
We just have more of them, and there's more awareness of them these days too because of social media.
Yeah.
So all these failures of humankind, mankind, they're just more obvious now because there's more awareness of it. There's more publicity of it. There's always been bad actors.
Yeah, bad apples.
Yeah. My wife, we were down at the courthouse yesterday, and, she said, David, I think society's crumbling. Like, these people are in their pajamas and their slippers sleeping on the benches in the courthouse. That's, well, baby, it's 35 degrees. Where would you want them to sleep,
Yeah.
They're homeless.
Yeah.
But there have always been those people. They used to live in shacks out in the woods. But when there weren't courthouses to hang out in, they were hungry then, and there's hungry ones now.
Yeah.
So I believe in the potential of mankind, and I believe in the potential of mankind to improve and to save itself.
Yeah.
Like this whole climate issue, and I believe in science, and I believe we do have climate change that's happening and that we need to address. And I believe a lot of the good ideas that people have about changing to getting away from the dependence on fossil fuels is a very good thing. That's why I'm disappointed that the government has turned away from solar energy.
Yeah.
But I also believe that mankind will solve the environment problem.
Yeah.
And that will be a dream come true for all of us, because I don't want my kids to grow up when it's to raise their kids in a climate where it's 120 degrees in Kentucky.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be any fun.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, David, I appreciate the information. I appreciate the encouragement, the motivation, and the insight and wisdom you have on life. I appreciate your outlook.
Well, God's been good to me.
Yeah.
God's been good to me, and it's like I feel obliged to use what God has given me to help other people. That's really the way I see things.
Yeah.
I feel obliged to use what God has given me to help other people, and that's what I tried to do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Can I shake your hand?
Yeah, thank you, friend. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you.
Well, I'm prouder of you than you are of me.
But I am proud of you.
I'm very proud of you. I've known you since you were knee-high to a grasshopper, okay?
Yeah.
You really have.
It's
Used to
crazy.
come in and
Look at us now.
he used to come in and bounce around my law office before I was a judge, and I thought, man, this kid's about as, he has to look up to a bowling ball. That's how tall he is, okay?
You're funny.
He has to reach up to get his hands in the bowling ball holes.
Yeah, you're funny. You're funny. Well, I appreciate the conversation.
All right, let's get the dog home and let him have some supper, okay?
Sweet, yeah.
Coach, let's go eat, man. Are we ready, Coach?